Okay, so when we look into our state, we have a lot of tribes, and each tribe has its own festival. So we have to remember the names of a lot of festivals according to the tribes. So let's start with uh, the Kuki tribe. So for the Kuki tribe, we have the Mimkut festival. Okay, so the Mimkut is the harvest festival of the cookies. Cookies of Nagaland, they celebrate this festival on the 17th cookie month of Tolbul every year. So 17th of Tolbul is 17th of January every year. The celebration, it lasts about 1 week, and besides Mimkut, the cookies also celebrate Chapal Kut and Jawang Kut, as well as other smaller festivals. So uh, it is believed that Nimput and other festivals, it came into being from the fact that in order to appease Dilha, okay, that is the demon spirit. So in order to uh, appease the demon, it is believed that the cookies, they started celebrating this festival. The people offered sacrifices, and at the same time, they also believed in the existence of a supreme god whom they called Chung Watan, okay, heavenly god. So to get the blessings of such gods, the village medicine man, who is called the temple, would sacrifice fowls to propitiate the spirit of the demon god by performing a series of rituals and prayers. Okay, so this tradition is handed down orally from uh, generation to generation, and it says that the cookies, they actually originated from the subterranean world. So they came out from this underworld in search of better land, and they brought with them a number of cereals such as millets, tapioca, beans, yam, etc. So after they came overground, they found Patty and Job's deers together, which were brought across a river called Twinanhem, okay, which was yeah, which was brought across a river which was called Twinanhem. So it was brought across a river called Twinanhem by a pair of wild rats, and they brought this on a bamboo sheet which was stuck in their mouths. So gradually they found mitun from a place called Sisip, pig from Bonol, and fowl from Wolcon, which they domesticated. And they would lavishly use these animals during such festivals. So the cultivation, and after which the cultivation of chopped steers, it started. And they found that it was more productive and yielded a better harvest. So here, according to the oral tradition, we can see that the cookies were believed to have originated from the subterranean world, and then underworld, and then they came up to the world, okay, and then they found a number of cereals, and they started cultivating them. And regarding the jobs there, how jobs steers, how did they come to know about it? According to their oral tradition, according to the stories that are handed down, it is believed that it was brought by a pair of wild rats. So, it reached their place of settlement, and then they started cultivating them. So, the celebration, if you look at the celebration, we will find that the first day of Mimkut, it is exclusively for the village priest or the shaman, okay? So he would perform a series of rituals asking the god Dilha about the good or bad time for the celebration, and accordingly, he would announce the date and manner of celebration. And the announcement is done early in the morning at cock crow when with the accompaniment of the sound of gong and drum. And then everyone then starts the preparation mentally and physically. So yesterday I was mentioning about priesthood. So in the ancient Naga culture and society, we will find that the priests they play an important role. So even for the cookies, when they are about to start the festival, it is usually the village priest, okay, or the village shaman who will first initiate the uh, festival. Uh, Please excuse me for 2 minutes, okay? I have a very important uh, call coming. I'll get back to you in 1 minute.
Girls. Hello, girls.
Vito, you explain.
Okay, Nimkut is the festival of the Kuki tribe, and they believe in the demon who eat the flesh of the people. And suddenly, they begin to run away from the demon. But demon finally begin to chase them, and they eat one by one. And at last, there was two-person left. That is one male, one female left, and that too was a couple ran in the forest, just like Adam and Eve. Cookie tribe, they both live happily together in the forest, and the demons are still searching both of them but cannot found. And the two couple begin to produce young ones and make
Okay. Yeah, sorry for the inconveniences. So, yeah. So we are talking about the sequence of the Mimput festival for the Kuki tribe. So as I was saying, the priest or the shaman they play an important role in the ancient Naga culture and society. So here also we will find the role of the priest. We will find that it is the priest who will first declare the beginning of the festivity. So on the first day, the announcement of the festival is done early in the morning when the cock crows, and it is accompanied by the sound of gong and drum. On the second day, early in the morning, the village shaman would perform rites and rituals at the village water point and other ominous places like the biggest tree and biggest rock near the village, believed to be the abode of god Tilha, by sacrificing an unblemished white fawn. So here on the second day, in the morning, they will perform rites and rituals. Now they will choose important places in the village to perform the rituals. Now, as we have discussed yesterday, we will find that our ancestors they worship trees, stones, uh, even rock, big rocks. They even used to worship water bodies, especially ponds and streams in the village. So here we will find that among the cookies, they all when they started the festival in the past, they would start with performing rites and rituals at important places in the villages, which included places like the biggest tree or the biggest rock. Why? Because they believed that the Tilha, the abode of God Tilha, uh, resided in those places. Okay, and they used to perform the rituals by sacrificing an unblemished white foal, which means a clean, without any mark, a foal without any mark, a clean and without any mark. On the third day, it is devoted to cleaning of the village, footpath to water point, ketties, and neighboring villages. The women folk, they would prepare food, dew, and other drinks, and they would serve them to the men folk who are working. And on the fourth day, able-bodied men from each household and the youth from Pan, that is the Murong, okay, they would go to the jungle to rob a mitun. The mitun is brought to the village and tied to a post having three branches. No ordinary tree or post is used. On this day, the women folk and youngsters, they bring millet, yam, pumpkin, job steers, and other field produces, and they will prepare crunchy baked cake and cook yam, pumpkin, and the vegetables. And whatever they cook, they will serve them to the men folk on their arrival with the mitun. And the boys and the girls, they will fetch firewood, water, and leaves required for the feast. So the fourth day is also basically um, sort of a preparation day where the men folk they go to the jungle to bring the mitun while the women folk they cook for them. On the fifth day, the mitun is ceremoniously grilled by observing rites by the shaman, the village priest, and the men folk they cut and prepare the mitun. The women folk they continuously serve madhu, that is rice beer, and other drinks. The boys and girls they will wear the best of clothes and other garments, and then they will sing and dance throughout the day. So the whole day is devoted to merrymaking, jest, singing, and dancing. And during this, on the fifth day, during the Minkut festival, new songs are also taught and learned. And the whole evening is spent in feasting and revelry. The main Kut festival is enjoyed together by uh, the main Kut festival. Okay, there is repetition of Kut. The main good feast is enjoyed together by one and all. So if you look at the sequence of the festival till the fourth day, it is just the preparation for the festival, and on the fifth day they will observe the festival by um, feasting and merrymaking and singing. The sixth day it is devoted to sports. So on the fifth day, sorry, on the sixth day is devoted to sports. Different groups are formed and competition goes on throughout the day. The elder group, the younger group, and the women group, they would vie for the coveted prize, which normally is a lump of mitun meat that is set aside. The sports competed are mostly shot put, okay, race, pole climbing, wrestling, mitun jump, pole throw, etc. So the pole that is thrown during their sports is usually a pole that is used for pounding rice. Other traditional games are also played. The women's section they also compete in various types of sports, whereas the aged and the children they enjoy watching. So after the sports, the night is get together night. A big campfire is lit, and folk songs and dances punctuated by jokes continue throughout the night. So the sixth day, we see that the sixth day is also a day of celebration, but on the sixth day, they usually play sports, and in the night, they continue their singing and dancing. The seventh day, it is the last day of the celebration. Um the last day is the coming together of many family members and neighbors. Married daughters with husband and children, they would visit their parents, brothers and sisters, and exchange gifts. And this will be reciprocated, and they are sent back after being entertained. So the Mimkut festival is for 7 days. Uh, the first 4 day is for preparation. The fifth day is the men's celebration by the cutting of the mitun. The sixth day is for sports, and last day it is usually the coming together of the family members and neighbors. Now, after the seventh day, the priest would announce the closing of the celebration after performing rites and rituals in the same manner by again releasing a spotless white fall to please the Dilha god. And with a good omen for the village, he would announce the closure of the celebration officially. And the village will then begin the year's activity. So, as we can see, the Mimkut festival is observed in the first month of the year, that is January. So, in the month of January, the festival is celebrated uh, so that they please their God, and then they will also ask for prosperity and good health in the village. And after the celebration is done, they will now start with the year's activity. Okay, so this is the Mimkut festival of the cookies. Next, we have the Pom. The Poms have four major festivals, each having unique significance. There are Monyu, Moha, Bongvum, and Hangmo. The Monyu, it is the most popular and biggest festival that falls in the month of April every year, soon after the sowing season. Okay, soon after the seeds are planted in the field. The festival is celebrated for 6 days, beginning from 1st to 6th April every year. It also marks the end of winter and the beginning of summer or monsoon. A day or two prior to the festival, the green signal of the dawn of festival is met by beating log drums with a distinct tune synchronized purposely for the event, traditionally named Lan Nyan Shen. Okay, so yesterday we were discussing about log drums, right? So here we can see that among the Pom tribe, they also used the log drum, and in order to signal the beginning of the Monyu festival, they also beat the log drum. And for the beating of the drum, they have a specific tune which is called Lan Yan Shen. Okay. And the main feature of the Monyu is the occasion when the male members of the family they show love and renewal of affectionate feelings towards their married daughters or sister by presenting them the purest of the rice beer and specially prepared food. Now, another thing that you will notice in the festivals of the Naga tribes is that you will always find merrymaking, singing, dancing, and also the use of rice beer. Okay, so here, even among the Bom tribe in the Monyu festival, the brother, okay, the brother or the male member of the family, they will present the purest form of rice beer and specially prepared food to their married daughters or sisters. Now, the festival is celebrated for 6 days, okay? The first day, is the day for overall preparation. Besides preparing of domestic chores, every household they go to collect wrapping leaves and bamboos, which is called Shong Den Lai Pen. Okay, Shong Den Lai Pen, the first day. The second day is for compulsory brewing of all kinds of rice beer. The third day, it is meant for the varying age group from oldest down to the youngest. They gather together and feast amidst dancing and merrymaking. The day is named Aiha Okshok. Okay, Aiha Okshok. The fourth day is called Jingi Okshok, which particularly means general festivity and also the day of arrival of guests from neighboring villages. On the fifth day, it is called Pangmoha, where parties of young and old men and women, they wear their respective colorful costumes, give themselves busy, eating, drinking, dancing, inviting friends and relatives. Okay, and the sixth day and the last day, the elderly people they will feast by exchanging jug of purest rice beer and meat. The younger ones, both boys and girls, they will stroll out to the outskirts of the village and they will feast together. The most common game played during the last day of the festival is a swing made out of wild rope, locally called shakokbu. Okay, so yeah, so that is the sequence of the uh, Monu festival. Now here we have the Moha. Okay, instead of Moha, I've written here Monu. It should be Moha, okay? Moha and Pongvam festival. So Moha is a one-day festival celebrated in the month of May to pray for the better growing of seeds and plants. Now, the seeds that they have planted in the month of April, okay? Now they will come in the month of May and then they will pray for the better growing of these seeds. The new crop or plants of various kinds are taken by the village they are taken to village by the elders or the priests of the village and they are put in a ritual place or an altar which is called moitu. And they will invoke the blessings uh, by the priest called Nong Patu for the better growth of the seeds. So Moha festival is usually to pray for the new plants or crops. The Pongon festival it generally falls in the month of October every year after the major harvest, and it is observed only for a day, similar to the Moha festival. This festival may be best interpreted as the festival of thanksgiving to Almighty God for whatever has yielded during the preceding months. On this occasion, no other animal but chicken is killed, and its hot blood sprinkled against the other surface of the bamboo well for storing grains. The other rituals associated with Ponggol festival is the preparation of sticky rice. The meat is cooked with prawn and crabs, mixed with dried bamboo shoot and ginger. This prepared food is put into the leaves carefully and tied to the main post of the house. Both these rituals are performed as a token of giving thanks to Almighty for the blessing harvest. Also, protecting the future of the family by taking out the chicken's intestine, performed by the father, who is the head of the family, forms another part of ritual during the festival. So each festival has different rituals. For the Pongong festival, it is mostly a Thanksgiving festival. Therefore, what they do is that apart from them also eating the food or whatever food is prepared, they also offer the food to the Almighty. So how do they do this? They do this by hanging the food in one of the posts at home. All right. And in order to predict the future of the family, as in whether they'll have a good harvest or not, whether they'll have good health or not, whether they'll have richness and prosperity at home or not, all this is done by performing a ritual. So in this ritual, the head of the family, so it will usually be the father, will cut a chicken and then will take out the intestine of the chicken and according to the quality of the intestine, it will predict their future of the family. This same type of ritual is also performed by the Angamis, which we will talk about when we talk about the festival of the Angamis. Now, Pangmo, it is also another festival of the Pom tribe. It is celebrated in the month of November, which stretches over 3 days. In this festival, the whole surrounding of the village is cleaned, wells and homes are repaired and decorated. Every household, they brew a special rice beer, which is called yu. Okay? They call the rice beer yu and kill animals. Parents, they present gifts, commonly meat and prepared food to their daughters who are already married. They are called doi dai bu yoka, and they also reciprocate this kindness in the like manner with ardent love and respect. So yeah, so that is the festival. Those, let me just come here. Monyu, Moha, Pongwon, and Pangmo. Okay, these are the most important festivals of the Pom tribe. Now we come to Puchori. They celebrate the Yimshi festival, and Yimshi is the festival of welcoming to new harvest and blessing. It is celebrated in the month of October, usually on 5th October. Now, for the Puchuri tribe, for the Yimshi festival, as mentioned, October is the month of festivity, where every Puchuri they will anxiously wait to celebrate the greatest Yimshi festival. Um, all the Puchuris, young and old, rich and poor, they'll celebrate this festival with great pomp and piety. Okay, anticipating a good harvest which they deserve after a year's hard labor under scorching sun and rain. Originally, the festival commenced from the last part of September with different categories of observance till the final day, which falls in the first week of October every year. So Yimshi is observed, but it is observed only on the 5th of October, keeping in tune with the final days of the traditional observance of the festival. So when the time approaches, the village spokesman will announce the um, arrival of Yimshi, okay? And the very next day, the festivities will begin. So they have the big Yimshi and the small Yimshi. So the youth of the village, they will clean the whole village, the village footpath, the village wells and fields, and construct baskets, okay? And they will also make uh, resting places. After that, the head of the family will perform all the rituals, and necessary materials used in the rituals are fastened to the main post of the front house. And then here, during this festival, engaged couples, they will also renew their relationship by exchanging food or wine, and they will eat together. Many young couples, they get to know each other and get engaged during this period. And this festival is important and enjoyable, particularly to young people and farmers in general. So this is the big Yemshe, okay? Now the small Yemshe that is similar to the big Yemshe is also celebrated with rituals. For sanctification of the house, the ritual feast has to be hosted by a rich family. So all the villagers, they will observe the period with great solemnity till the end of the period. The family who hosts the sanctification feast, he has to fulfill certain conditions, okay? Uh, the rich family must fulfill specific traditions and provide for the entire village. So this is the requirement. The first one is that the family who hosts the sanctification feast will provide will have to provide wine to all families of the village. The second thing is that the family will have to host a dance party, okay, of his age group of his age group, as in the head of the family will usually be the father. So the father's age group, okay, men and women in the village, they will all have to dance in the village and in Kel voice as well. The feast will be given to the dancers and meat will be distributed to all his age group friends. And the cutting of bamboo marks usually happens twice. So all the host's clansmen and nephews, so the father's clansmen belonging to the same clan and their nephews, they will make new bamboo marks that will be used during the celebration. They will take wine from these marks, which will be kept with the host. Also, the old marks will be collected from every house and kept in the host family for drinking wine. The fourth tradition is that only Betty rice will be arranged. Okay, so they will not use millet or maize, but they will only use rice and distribute it to all the houses by the host. And later, the cooked rice will be again collected and redistributed to the families in the village. The fifth tradition is that all the clansmen will take one mitun and a chicken to the river on the way to the tomb field, and they will feast that. They will construct a resting shed there for the host of the sanctification feast. And what they believe is that it is believed that in the second life, those who have not hosted the sanctification feast, they cannot sigh with a deep breath as yuhi, but they can only say huroi. And those who have not performed the resting shed feast, they can only say ohi. So while building the resting shed, they have certain belief regarding to that also. The sixth one is that for reserving of frogs, okay, one axe each for 3 rivers is given to the villagers. So in the village, it is believed that they have 3 rivers. For each rivers, they will give one axe. Axe as in the tool that is used for cutting the wood, okay? Now, one axe for each river. So one axe for 3 rivers. This will be followed by giving out a big feast to all the village elders. After that, it will be announced in the village that frogs are reserved by the host of sanctification or Yimshe festival, and no other should go to this river to catch it. So this is mostly reserving the river for frog catching. Okay, it's a symbolic ritual. So in these 3 rivers during the Yimshe festival, only the host of the sanctification can go and catch the fish in all 3 rivers, and none of the villagers should go and catch the frogs. So after that, after wine and food is arranged, the master of the festival will ask his villagers to fetch him pine wood, and he will give a big feast to his villagers. Men will take 6 pieces of meat, while women will take only 5 pieces. So usually what happened in our ancient tradition is that it was usually the men who would go for hunting. It was usually the men who would also go for warfare. And it was also men who would usually carry out all the heavy physical activity. So maybe because of that, men were given 6 pieces while women got only 5 pieces of meat. So all the clansmen, they will carry well-prepared food and wine and go to the reserved rivers, and they will make preaches or letters required for catching the frog to enable them to go to any part of the river. At the same time, they will also eat and drink and enjoy themselves. So, and they will also play a lot of games. Okay. Now, after that, a chicken will be kept in a cage. Okay, and on a selected tree, they will keep a chicken in a cage on the way to the field. After that, a selected group will go to that spot with dried frogs where chicken was kept, and they will have a feast there. Every household have to perform this. Even the poorest family, they have to perform this ritual by roasting brinjal as the substitute of frog and chicken. So for those people who were poor and who cannot afford chicken and frog, they used to perform this ritual of hanging the chicken and bringing dried frogs. They would do this by roasting brinjals, which is kind of sad, no? Anyway, now it is traditionally believed that the most fertile lands were under the control of the devil. Okay. So sacrificial acts were also performed there in order to ask the devil or the god for the fertility of the land. So for the most fertile land, a mitun has to be sacrificed, and then a pig for the and for the less fertile land, a chicken has to be sacrificed in the field. 2 big quarts of wine will be carried, one for halfway and the other for sacrificial consumption. While coming back from their field, a particular group will not mingle with another group. So there will be a mitun group, a pig group, and a chicken group, and they'll all come back separately. So likewise, they will also consume the wine separately. Okay. Now, after all this is done, after all the arrangements like collection of the green vegetable, meat, wine, and everything is done, uh, the master will select 6 supervisors. Okay, 2 for washing ginger, 4 to supervise the butchers for preparation of the feast for the whole village. So all young and old will come and will help the host in preparation of the feast. In this feast, mitun, pigs, and chicken are slaughtered. And if there is no mitun, 3 pigs will substitute a mitun. Okay, and women folk, they will bound the rice and cook, while the men folk, they will be busy cutting the meat and doing other difficult jobs. And by sundown, by evening, all villagers from youngest to the oldest, they will come together to attend the great feast. So after the feasting is done, few quantities of all sorts of foodstuff and rice grains, it shall be shared and offered to the dead soul as farewell gift and greetings of the Yimshe feast. So here we will find that they even remember the dead during the Yimshe feast. The last day of the feast will be impressively observed as the feast cleaning. Okay, feast cleaning day and new beginning. So all will remain at home and no one will do anything. They will neither go on journey or to the field. They are not allowed to go anywhere. From the very next day, all types of harvest and collection of house construction materials will be done. Okay, and harvest will begin. No new construction is allowed, as a new construction of houses if you have to build, and this will symbolize a new cycle of life and abundance. So if you just look at the importance, the cultural importance of Yimshe festival, we will see that it promotes community unity, respect for tradition, spiritual rituals, and gratitude to nature. And it encourages family bonding, youth engagement, and social harmony. So this is how the festival was celebrated in the past. Okay. We are not very sure whether the same type of festival is performed today. Maybe we can talk about this when we discuss after our class. Okay. Now, after this, we come to the Rengma Nagas. Okay, they celebrate the Ngada festival. It's an 8-day cultural and spiritual celebration, which is celebrated post-harvest. And the purpose is to honor and bid farewell to the departed souls and reconnect with community and ancestral spirits. They perform rituals for peace, prosperity, and protection during the Ngada festival. So there, it's an 8-day festival. So on day one, the first day is meant for the preparation of rice beer by every household. Um, Banana leaves are collected from the forest on the second day for the Ngada feast. On the third day, the women folk would visit the graves of their relatives, and they will place rice beer wrapped in banana leaves. Symbolic offering. Okay, this is a symbolic offering for visiting spirits of the deceased, of the dead spirits, and it was believed that the souls of the dead relatives they visit once in a year during the Ngata festival. Therefore, the festival is observed in remembrance of the departed soul. On the fourth day, all members, all male members, they will gather at the respective Kel Morong, which is called Rinsi, and they will come with their own rice beer and meat from home, okay? And they will have their meal there. At midday, like afternoon, all male members in their ceremonial and warrior fineries will go around the village, followed by women with rice beer in their mugs and bitter gourd containers to offer them drinks. And on the fifth day, they the fifth day again witnesses all the male members going in procession, okay, visiting all the houses, singing songs relating to the Ngada festival, and each household has to give them something as a token of their appreciation when the procession visits them. On the sixth day, okay, all the members of the village they will visit the house of one another, irrespective of their clan or kel, and they will eat and drink with one and all in every house without any restriction or hesitation. On the on the seventh day, everybody goes to the forest for collecting firewood, banana leaves, and vegetables for the feast. So the a grand feast is arranged on the eighth day. Okay, that is the final day where the whole village, okay, the whole population, they will feast on whatever was collected on the fifth day procession. After this feast, it is believed that the souls of those who have died that very year, they will leave the village and go to the land of the dead. So on this day, three rites are performed. Um One is the peace agreement with fire in order to avoid fire accident in the village. The second agreement is made with rats so that they do not destroy crops or household goods. And the third rite is performed to expel evil spirits from all households and from the village. And this ends the 8-day long celebration of the Ngada festival of the Rengmas. So here we will see that Ngada festival, it reinforces respect for ancestors, it reinforces community bonding because during this festival they go around visiting every house in the village, and also reinforces spiritual balance and protection. And it preserves oral traditions, tribal identity, seasonal rituals, and also belief systems. So that is a very interesting festival, a very interesting festival of the Rengmas, the Ngada festival. Now, next up, we have the Sangdam tribe. They celebrate the Amongmong festival, okay? A sacred celebration by the Sangtam tribe of Nagaland. The Sangtams have about 12 festivals spreading over the calendar year, including some special functions. Except certain Ganas, all the festivals are concerned with food production, blessings, and prosperity. And Among Mong is one of the most important festival of the Sangtams. And the predominant theme of the festival is the worship of God. of the house and the 3 cooking stones in the fireplace. The festival is observed in the first week of September every year. So, a Mong festival here, this festival is mainly to worship God and also the 3 cooking stones in the fireplace. In the past, I'm sure you must have seen in the villages also. Uh, in the past, in the villages, the fireplace was made out of 3 stones. They used to cook. They used to cook in that 3 stones. They would place the pot on the 3 stones and cook. So in the past, we did not have iron. Iron was not there. So like present day, we don't have uh, we the our ancestors, they did not have iron or like the ones we have in the present times. Therefore, they used to use stones. They used to place 3 stones in the fireplace, and on top of the 3 stone, they would place the cooking pots and they would cook there. So, among festival of the Sangdam here, they worship God during the festival and they also worship this 3 stones. So here, after toiling for several months during the year, and when the crops are ripe for harvest, the green signal to start the celebration of Amongmong festival among the Sangtam is also given by a village priest who is called Bepuro. Okay, Bepuro. He will initiate the festival with ritual proclamation at midnight. So, at the dead of the night, the priest will announce or proclaim the Zhang Yo Mong Mong. So there's a proclamation that the priest makes. I don't know if it sounds the right way, but it seems it's pronounced or the proclamation is done like Zhang Yo Mong Mong Nu Hi Lehe. So later, if there is any sanctum in our group, we can translate that. And the next morning, okay, another priest will repeat the proclamation. Then the villagers will begin preparation for the festival by accumulating foodstuff, firewood, and special wine like the rohi and madhu. And yeah. So the Amongmong festival, okay, the Amongmong festival, which means togetherness forever, is very cautiously observed every year. And excuse me, and it stretches over 6 days. So the main purpose of this festival is to have good harvest, food grains for which the villagers have toiled throughout the year, and for the figure 6, okay, the figure 6, it also bears a great significance among the forefathers, as the figure 7 was among the Hebrews. So here, for example, when a man brings an enemy's head from war, he keeps himself undefiled and observes Gena for 6 days, which means uh, when a person goes for head hunting, okay, when a person goes for head hunting and if he brings a head from war, he will keep himself undefiled and observe Gena, which means on for 6 days he will not be allowed to eat certain food, he will not be allowed to sleep with his wife, and he has to remain pure. Okay, so that is also done for 6 days. A male baby is christened on the 6th day. So, and even and when a man dies, okay, the deceased family, they would also mourn for 6 days. So here we're just giving example on how the figure 6 is important for our ancestors. Okay, so Gena for 6 days, christening of a male baby on the 6th day, and if a man dies, the deceased family would mourn for 6 days. So we see the importance of the number 6 here. And we'll also see that men or the male members are given more importance since we are uh, since we have a patriarchal society. Men are given importance, and therefore even when a baby is born, if it's a male baby, it's christened on the 6th day. And even during death, mourning of the dead person, if it's a male, it's for 6 days, and female usually for 5 days. Now, if you look at the Among festival, it is also celebrated for 6 days. Day one is called the Sinkit Sa. This day is marked by the closing of all transactions relating to purchase of domestic animals like pigs, cow, mitun, and roping them, besides preparing and collecting of foodstuffs. The villagers also engage themselves in collection of firewood, vegetables, and millets from the old fields. So that is day one. Day two is uh on day two, there is animal sacrifice and distribution. The domestic animals are sacrificed and the meat is distributed among age-based work groups. Okay. For the male, it's called Atiru, and female Akingru. And they will feast together, group feast in the houses of the group treasurer, and each families will share meat with relatives and neighbors. On the third day, excuse me. On the third day, it is called the Musu Yangtap, that is worship of the cooking stone. Okay, so the third day is Musu Yangtap, a day of worshiping the three stones by one and all. So in the morning, early in the morning, on the third day of celebration, the oldest women of the household will perform the ritual by placing sticky rice shaped into balls on top of the three stones. Okay, and after placing the bowl shaped sticky rice on top of the stones, they will pour a little wine upon these stones, believing that the god, they also believed in the Jaba, okay, is represented by the three stones. So until the ritual is completed, nobody in the house is allowed to taste food, and even animals are not fed. So this performance normally takes a short time only, but great care is taken during the ritual lest it is eaten up by some domestic animals, which is believed to be a sign of some misfortune or wrath of the devil. So on this third day, we also have to remember that in the past, our ancestors or our forefathers, they did not, domesticating the animals. They did not keep them caged, or they did not have a big sty, or they did not have coops for the chicken. So animals and human beings, they were all just living together. So therefore, they had to take care of the animals not coming and eating the sticky rice balls. Okay, so great care had to be taken during the ritual. Now on these 3 days, villagers will neither go to the fields nor outside the village, as according to the belief, these actions would bring calamities and also damage to crops. So everyone is supposed to stay in the village on the third day. And again, at dawn, the priest would go to the village well and will first throw water very carefully. And this will be followed by the other people waiting there. And uh, they have to go and fetch water from the well. So each of them must cover his head or her head with green leaves, mm, list or else it is believed that they would be attacked by some disease, mostly by cholera. Okay, so the day is celebrated with children playing among themselves, engaging in different activities, and then they for the youth they would also engage in games, and uh, it is also they're usually joined by their girlfriends. The young boys, they are joined by their girlfriends, and the whole day is devoted to drinking of rice beer dancing, and duck of war and other merrymaking activities. That is the third day. Now on the fourth day is called Kikalangpi. Okay, Kikalangpi. The male population of the village, they will give a facelift to the village. So here, the priest will first start cleaning the wheat, which is followed by all other villagers. The path leading to the fields, in the village roads, village wells, and spring, everything is cleaned on this day. And on returning home, every grown male member will contribute meat and wine and feast together in the house of the village priest. And they also reaffirm their mutual friendship and community bonds on this day. And it is a day of special gathering and feasting. Okay, and the wife of the house will put chilies, ginger, and cotton in green leaves to ward off the evil and in order to avoid crop failure. So this ritual is performed by the women in the house. Okay, the wife of the house will perform that. The fifth day, okay, the fifth day is called Shilang Upang Nyumong. Okay, Shilang Upang Nyumong. On this day, the villagers pay visits to relatives, friends, and neighboring villages, and also share meals, drinks, and exchange of gifts in the form of meat. And social ties are strengthened. And on the sixth day, that is the Aka Disingkitsa. Akang Disingkitsa. From this day, harvesting will begin. On successful completion of the 6-day celebration of Among Mong, the Sangtam tribe believe that their God is well pleased and hope for blessing from him to have rich harvest and good health in the family. So, Among Mong, it is deeply rooted in spiritual rituals, agricultural cycles, and social unity, and it emphasizes the separation of the living and the dead, harmony within the village, and also respect for ancestral traditions. Yeah, so we come to the end of one part of the festival. This is just one part, okay? I've been talking for an hour now. I hope you're all there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
I have been meaning to ask you all, when you sit for your for the classes, do you like okay, so we will continue with the festivals. The Suminagas, they celebrate Ahuna and the Tuluni festival. Tuluni, it is a festival of great significance. This festival is marked with feast as the occasion occurs in the plentiful season of the year. Drinking rice beer indispensably forms a part of the feast. Rice beer is served in a goblet made with the leaf of plantain. This wine is called tuluni. Therefore, the consumption of wine is called tuluni. Tuluni is also called ani, the word of which denotes the season of plentiful crops. This mid-year festival, this festival is mostly celebrated in July. It is the greatest and the most fervent moment for the Sumi community of Nagaland. So Tuluni, during this festival, the betrothed exchange basket full of gifts with meals, as in people who are engaged, okay? They will exchange beautiful, baskets of gifts with meals. The fiance is invited to a grand dinner at the fiance's residence. Even siblings of families of both the bride and groom, they exchange dinner and packed food and meat. It is a time of joy even for the babysitters. On this day, they are fed generously with food and meat. Cultivators or farmers, they usually work in groups, and especially for the Tuluni festival, the Ani festival, they keep budget with which either pig or cows are procured, and the butchered animals are shared amongst the members. The reserved meat is used for group feast. In the midst of the feast, group leaders get extra offer of meat by way of feeding them by others. Each working group consists of 20 to 30 in number, which includes several women too. The new recruits are also made to add to the group at this grand feast. Uh, the betrothed are settled at this period. The fervor of feast is synchronized with the chain of folk songs and ballads. Here, what happens is people who are planning to get engaged or are engaged, they are settled at this period. Okay, and we see that Sumis have two different clans, that is the Su and the Tuku, Sumi and the Tukumi. So, by virtue of two separate clans, the Ganas and rituals differ between the Sumi and the Tukumi. And among all other festivals and Ganas, Sumis in general accept the festival of Duluni as the most grand and important one. Now, uh, in case you don't know what is Gena, okay, Gena, the owls refer to Gena as Anambong. Okay, so Gena is a word that is an Angami word, which means dabu, sort of dabu. Okay, so during the Gena period, it's a double period. You're not supposed to do certain things. You're supposed to observe certain things. You're not supposed to do certain things. You are prohibited from doing certain things. For example, if a person has to go for head hunting, he is not allowed to sleep with the wife. Uh, he's not allowed to perform sexual intercourse. He's not allowed to eat, say, uh, blood of any animals. Okay, so these are prohibitions. Okay, and these are taboos, and the Nagas, we collectively call it as Gena. Okay, so like I said, for the owls, it's called Anambong. So even for a woman who is pregnant, a woman also observes Anambong or Gena, and even the husband also observes Gena. Like the husband cannot use paint or cannot kill animals, cannot eat certain food items like that. Okay, so in case you don't know what Gena is, Gena means sort of a dabu. Yeah, so we come back to the Ahona festival. Ahuna is a traditional post-harvest festival of the Sumis. It signifies the celebration of the season's harvest in Thanksgiving for good fortune in the new year, while also invoking the spirits for occasion. The entire community prepares and feasts on the first meal of rice drawn from the season's harvest, which is cooked in bamboo segments, which is cooked in bamboo, okay? The receptacles for cooking or serving on the occasion are freshly made, carved, or cut from indigenously available resources, prolific and abundant in the countryside. Typically, Ohuna is observed in the month of November after the harvest, and the date may vary slightly depending on local customs or decisions which are made by the village elders. In the recent years, it is officially celebrated on 14th November in Nagaland. So that is about the Ahuna festival, the general information. Now here, during the Ahuna festival, they prepare traditional food, which is cooked in bamboo tubes, which is a signature cooking method for most of our Nagas. A grand feast is prepared using pork, beef, and vegetable. There is community gathering where people gather in the murong and they will share food, and then uh, they will wear their most colorful traditional attire, and they will sing and dance to traditional folk songs, and it is also accompanied by the log drum beats. And during this festival, the elders also share folk tales, history, and wisdom with the younger generation. And it is customary to exchange food or gifts with relatives and neighbors during the Ahuna festival. Okay, so that is all about the Tuluni and Ahuna festival. Now we come to the Imkyung tribe. The Imkyung tribe, they celebrate Mutamnyu. Okay, Mutamnyu. So the Imkyungs, they celebrate Mutamnyu from 4th to 8th of August every year after the harvest of millet. Now this festival is connected with the prayers for the souls of the departed souls. Very similar to the Ngata festival, right, of the Rengmas. It is a sentimental ceremony for those dear ones who left for their heavenly abode during the year. An elder known as Kyampuru offers two prayers and inaugurates the festival. The festival is spread over 5 days and has separate names for the day, that is Shito, Zito, Zumto, uh, Risuk, and Sheresuk. I hope I'm pronouncing them correctly. And yeah, on the first day, the village is cleaned by community efforts. The damaged roads and homes are repaired. And on the second day, the path leading to the field is put in right shape. Landslides, which are very common during heavy rains, are cleaned. So unguilty clothes are also cut. So Matamu was celebrated just last week because today is what, 12th August. So it was only last week that the celebration was held, and landslides, which are very common during heavy rain. So Matamu is celebrated during the monsoon when the rain is heavy. So when if there are any landslides, those are also cleaned. The path to the field are also cleaned on the second day. On the third day, the inter-village roads are taken up. The inter-village roads are cleaned. And on the fourth day, water points and springs are cleaned, giving a new look to the village and its surroundings. The villagers enjoy the millet, friends are invited, gifts are exchanged, they dance in their finest clothes, and they go around the village to charm young and old. As the festival has a strong agricultural base, the agricultural implements are sharpened and worshipped. The three important tools, that is the spade, dao, and the hoe. During the Mutamnu festival, young boys and girls, they also get engaged, similar to the Tuluni, and those already engaged, they also exchange presents for newborn babies. Special prayers are held and offerings are made. If the child happens to be male, the parents offer 6 pieces of meat to the priest, and if the child happens to be female, parents offer 5 pieces of meat. This signifies that the male has 6 souls and the female 5 souls. Okay, so Matamu, and then we have Sangkamnyo. This is also another important festival of the Yimkyo. Okay, you have to remember the names of the festivals. Sangkamnyo is celebrated from 14 to 16 every year in January. This festival is observed to signify the year-long life and harvest achieved. During this festival, the young men and women of the village, they gather together and go around dancing to every house of the village in merriment. In turn, every household will provide meat, wine, and rice cooked and kept ready for them. This procession will go around the entire village and complete with a stipulated time. The first day of the morning is spent on cleaning the village, and thereafter, eating, drinking, and dancing will begin. So that is the Sengkamnyo festival of the Imkyong, January 14 to 16 every year. Okay. Now we come to the Ziliang tribe. The Ziliangs, they observe Milingi. Okay, Milingi. The Milingi or the Hega festival. Okay. The Milingi or Hega festival of the Zimi people inhabiting the barren district of Nagaland, uh, North Chachar Hills of Assam, and Senapati district of Manipur is one of the most important festivals. So here, the Zimi people, they're not just in barren district of Nagaland, but they also reside in Assam and Manipur. Okay. So the Milingi or the Hega festival is one of the most important festival of the Zimi tribe, Zimi people. Um, this festival is celebrated every year during the month of February. So, just days before the festival starts, it is a tradition for the young girls to weave or make some ornaments and discreetly give them to the young boy whom they have taken a liking to, for them to wear them with their traditional custom for the festival. So it is a bride for the boy who receives most such gifts. Okay, so uh, an interesting tradition. Okay, where young girls will weave and give to the boy whom she likes, and it was a bride for the boy who will receive many such gifts. The announcement of the start of the festival is done by the chief priest. Okay, the in the morning of the first day, the chief will pronounce or announce the announcement of the village and calls for all families to prepare food for the celebration, and will call all women folk to stop weaving and reminds all for abstinence. So the village priest will declare the beginning of the celebration, and once the declaration or the announcement is made, the villagers are not supposed to work. So even the women folk, if they are weaving, they have to stop doing that. Okay, now when this is announced, all the men folk, they will no longer lie in bed, but they will get up and they will start preparing for the celebration. The first day, hengi zay, rice beer is prepared on the first day, which is later mixed with Nui Zao, okay? Nui Zao and served during the festival. Uh, the women folk also prepare a special dishes on this day, that is mangkang. In the evening, men folks will go to the well for fetching water for for their exclusive use. As in, the water that they fetch, only they will use. Okay. At the well, they cry out "Awi," okay, and say that they are drawing the water for Lidi. Which, with this water, they prepare their own food, as it is taboo for men and women to share food till the festival is over. Okay. Now, Millet, the traditional way of making fire, is performed at the murong by the person selected by the clan. After the fire is lit, every household of the clan takes it to their respective hearths and start their own fire, and they will prepare their own food. After the meal, the boys will they take a stump of the burning fire back to the murong, and at the entrance they will shout "Awi," the festival of bravery, of abundance, food and drinks, of good population, of great warriors. May this be a blessing for me, and I shall reap the best harvest. Thus saying, he'll throw the fire into the heart. The special food is shared among family members. The boys and girls who are to be married that year um, has to have meal in the respective in-laws' house. Lady, okay? And some curry is packed and given to them, which they take it to their murongs and to the girls' dormitory to share with their friends. So the girls' dormitory is called Riliki. Marriages takes place on a single day for that particular year, which is held on the fifth day after Zosa. On the second day, after the morning meal, the village gate is built on this day. After blessing is invoked by an elder, saying, "Awi, let this gate be smoothly built. Let the year have a good harvest and many more children born. Let this gate be a blessing for the people." Thus, with Nua, lifts and pulls it to the place and erects it. So it's called Wadi. Okay, Wadi. Then all the young men and boys, clad in their best attire, they will compete in indigenous games and sports like wrestling, long jump, high jump, shot put, leaping, etc. On the third day, Bamsak or Mipui Nekwa, the women go to their parents' house with their daughters and young sons who have not come of age to sleep in the morrow to enjoy special food her mother prepares. All the members of the bride's reliquae, they gather and go to the house of the bridegroom, and they will sing songs asking the mother of the groom to give them salt, which was held very dear in the olden days, which I've explained yesterday, right? The importance of salt. In this, the same is consumed during the 5 days observed as Himyo in honor of the brides. In the evening, the men, boys, and girls, along with the brides, they will perform a dance which is called the Inda. The fourth day, Singwa or Mipel Nongwa, the youth will go to the jungle to collect firewood for the Murongs. The host of the Murong provides special rice beer, which the young members of the Murong drink after they fetched firewood. One or two big logs are brought to the village and placed on the ground where dances are performed. And at the end of the day's dances, the young boys and girls they scrabble for the log. They will fight for the log, okay? And the winner takes it to the Murong or dormitory. However, it is always the girls who wins this competition, as the boys help them carry it to the girls' dormitory. Maybe because the boys want to go to the girls' dormitory, they will let the girls win intentionally, and they will help them carry the log, and they'll because it'll be heavy, so the boys will carry them and go to the girls' dormitory. So they get a chance to be in the girls' dormitory. So intentionally, they would let them win. They also play a game called Nyang Bun. Okay, Nyang Bun, where men or boys and girls in they will stand in groups and sing songs. Agile young men or boys they hold hands together and jump towards the girls and try to run back before the girls can lay their hands on them. So if the boys misbehave, the women folk identify them and help the girls to punish those persons. So that is also a very interesting game that was played. Maybe you guys can also try playing that with your friends. A game known as Habila, okay, where the girls holding hands together in groups of two put across their hands up to the wrist under a curtain, and usually the eligible bachelors they try to guess whose hands it was, and it is likely to mention the name of the one he's interested in, or the name of the girl his clansmen hold in high esteem. So this is also another game which is called the Habila. So uh, they will hide themselves. Okay, they will hide themselves and they will only show their hands or their wrist. And the eligible bachelors they will try to guess whose hand it is. So usually they will only say the name of the person they like. They usually say the name of the um, person she likes, or I mean he likes, or he'll usually say the name of the girl who is very popular among the clansmen. Okay, so that is the game of Hebela. Young men they also perform a war dance called the Reda with a shield and spear on the fourth day. Okay, the fifth day is the Zauza Zausa. The final day is spent eating, drinking, and dancing. In the evening, the men folk perform zausa, throwing their cup, prepared from the sheet of bamboo, up in between the horns of Mitun skulls, hung above the entrance of the murang. It is believed that if a drawer succeeds in the first attempt, he is likely to reap a good harvest that year. And for the bachelors, it is believed that a successful thrower will marry a girl of his choice the next year. The festival ends on the fifth day for all others except for the house owners of the princely clans who continue observing for the sixth day called Hekwangnim. So the fifth day is the last day. Okay, they spend performing another uh, sort of a game called the Zausa, and those people belonging to the princely clan, for them the festival ends only on the sixth day, and it is called the Hekwanim. Um, okay, so another important festival of the Ziliangs is the Lang Simki. Okay, it is celebrated during the last part of October or early part of November every year. Now, this is important. In 1965, the then Deputy Commissioner of Kohima, S.C. Dev, praised the festival celebration at Brunru village as gift guest. Thereafter, the government of Nagaland declared 31st October as restricted holiday on the account of this festival. So Langsimnye or Kwangtua is a festival for rekindling of the relationship between parents and their married daughters, between brothers and sisters that are each married and with families of their own, between married nieces and her maternal uncle, who was chosen to be the special uncle when the girl was betrothed. So on this day, the families of parents, brothers, maternal uncles, they prepare best food and send it to the family, which is called kwakwa. The woman's family reciprocates by sending the best food and rice beer. Uh, to the house of her parents, brothers, uncles called Hitamram. Okay. In some villages, the second day is observed by gathering in packs of different age groups, both young and old, for get together or picnic, which is known as hala. Most notable is the gathering of Himyum Pi or Pride to Be for the last time before they each become a woman. More like a bridal shower, okay? On this day, women folk can enjoy the company of their own friends as the men folk are left behind to attend to the household chores for the day. Now, if that had occurred in a household that year, or any domestic animal had given birth the previous night, all members of such household are debarred not only from taking part in the competition, but also from mingling with others during such festivities and competitions. In most of the villages, it is considered that the day belonged to the men and young boys. So, to prepare for the games and sports during this festival, men and young boys they gather in groups of kelts or clans, and they take turns to feed the members, giving out the best they could afford, so that fresh meat or good food is available for some time, and also to give equal opportunity to all to eat and to practice extra. The entire household solemnly observes abstinence or maru so that no harm befalls the men or boys when they compete in various games and sports. So, Gena, okay, the entire household observes Gena. So it's called Maru for them. And yeah, lastly, we have this Cheka Gadi is another important festival of the Ziliang people. This the beginning of this festival marks the people's belief that on this day the Almighty showers blessing and brings good harvest and health. However, the date for the celebration often differs between communities and villages, which is usually fixed according to their convenience. The Liang Mai community celebrates this festival usually in the last part of October. Earlier, the forefathers observed this festival for a duration of 4 or 5 days. However, the duration is now reduced to 3 4 days in times of any casualty. The people they wait anxiously, even at midnight, to see the first new moon, which is believed to be a boon and bring blessings of God. After the appearance of the moon, the priest of the village, who is known as the Sinkopio, makes an announcement and the people begin necessary preparations such as dresses, food, and drinks. After all the preparations are over, the priest makes another announcement as a prelude to the festival. The next morning, the youth of the village, men folk and women folk, they go to the jungle to cut firewood and bring it to their respective murongs. At noon, the men folk go to make new cups and plates out of bamboo to be used only in the festival. In the evening, the men folk again will go to draw water to be used in the murong. From this day onwards, a separate fireplace will be made for the men folk, usually at a room called akanki, and cooking is separated from the women folk of the family. At sunset, all the men folk with two high priests will go outside the main gate of the village to make a new fire to be used for the festival, and the males are then blessed. After which they shout, signifying that they have been sanctified. The men folk collect the fire and come back to their respective morongs, and as per the tradition, the women folk are prohibited from touching this fire and even the cups and plates of the festival till the third day of the festival. From this day onwards, all the men folk, irrespective of age, leave their homes and sleep in the morong. On the third day, two male who had observed fasting will go to the jungle to collect wood, which will be carved like a man and tattooed. This wooden statue is then installed at the two gates of the village, and then the spearing of the wooden statue takes place. After which, all the menfolk gather at the main ground of the village, and various competitions are held, like long jump, wrestling, cockfight, etc. Later, the high priest would declare the completion of all the arrangements and lift all prohibitions which was imposed earlier, And the folks of the village, respective of men and women, they are now free from all bindings, and they start feasting and merrymaking till the end of the festival. So yeah. So with that, we come to the